Thank you. We used to have an old Democrat in South Dakota by the name of Cy Rogers of Sioux Falls. And he once told me, George, don't ever try to do anything in politics until after the World Series. So it's some measure of the expected passion and enthusiasm for politics that characterizes Iowa, that we have this room packed tonight. I realize that Hillary is the big draw, and Jim McGovern over here, but it's a pleasure. I have nothing but joy in my heart when I think about Iowa. It's not only my neighboring state, but this is the state that put me on the way to winning the Democratic nomination. We are very fortunate as Democrats this year that we have a marvelous collection of candidates, any one of whom I would be happy to support for the highest office in the land. In 1972, our office got a telephone call one day, my Senate office, and Gary Hart was there as my campaign manager for the nomination, and he gave me a buzz on the telephone, and he said, George, there's a guy out here who wants to organize Arkansas for us in '72, but he's so darn smart, I think we ought to send him to a bigger state. And he said, I would recommend Texas. And so that's where Bill Clinton, a recent graduate of the Yale Law School, was sent. It was such a big state, we added another co-coordinator, Taylor Branch, who later won the Pulitzer Prize for a great book. But Bill Clinton told us that he had a girlfriend from Illinois by the name of Hillary Rodham, and she would like to go to Texas too. So we sent Bill Clinton, Taylor Branch, and Hillary Clinton to take on Texas. Let me tell you something. There's nothing in politics that requires any more courage than trying to sell George McGovern in Texas. I might say in that connection, I expect it's going to be a lot easier for me to help selling her here in Iowa. Selling Hillary here in Iowa. Bill didn't make it any easier in Texas when he let his hair grow out in all directions. The first time I saw him, I thought he looked like nothing so much as a buffalo. Anyway, I know talking with people here today, there are supporters for John Edwards. He's a brilliant young man. I know that some of you have I've seen the signs and so on, are for Senator Barack Obama. I hope I live long enough to see a black president in the White House, but we have an old rule of courtesy in the United States, ladies first. These two young men I've just mentioned, they're going to be around a long time. So my choice is Hillary Clinton. And this country has been around for 200 years and more. We've never once had a woman in the White House. Notwithstanding the fact that they comprise over half the population of this country. So it's not ladies first in that case, it's ladies not at all, not even last, until this year, with Hillary putting on the kind of effort she is. I told her a moment ago that each time I watch her at a public meeting or see her on television, she speaks with greater passion. She seems to have a greater feel for the problems of the country. She's getting wiser all the time, and I think she'd make a great, I think she would make a great president. I'm sorry, I forgot to hold the but I want everybody to hear this. Many of you here know the affection and admiration that I have for President Bill Clinton. But having said that, and looking at Hillary's years and years and years of experience, I think if we can elect her president, she'll be a greater president even than her brilliant husband. And I think if she's elected, and I hope she will be, she'll transform the feeling about women in this country and around the world. Other countries have long ago taken that step. Maggie Thatcher in England, Indira Gandhi in India, Maggie Thatcher in Britain. Even Russia had Catherine the Great many years ago. I'm not sure how great she was, but this one's going to be a great woman. Eleanor is no longer here. She died in January. She loved and admired Hillary, as do I. And it's with great pride that I introduce this wonderful woman to you tonight, Hillary Clinton.
Another round of applause for this great American, Senator George McGovern. You know, I am delighted to be here in Johnson County with all of you, and I'm personally just overwhelmed by being here with Senator McGovern. He has, as you know, such a distinguished record of service to our country. You know, toward the end of World War II, he went from the bombing runs that he did that earned him the Distinguished Flying Cross over Africa and Italy. He was one of the most decorated flyers in World War II, to ferrying food to the front lines for people who had been devastated by the bombing. When he came to the Senate, he made ending hunger one of his priorities. And I am so proud that when you think about it, he expanded food stamps, he expanded school lunch and school breakfast, he created the Women, Infant, and Children Feeding Program. And I am so proud of the work that he's doing now. He and former Senator Dole are helping to implement something called the McGovern Dole food program, and it's aimed at helping children around the world who go hungry to get a decent meal by going to school. So it's about ending hunger and about promoting education. And I think that George McGovern has had many titles in his career. He's been a senator. He's obviously a veteran. He's been an ambassador to the food programs. But he is, above all, a patriot and someone that the United States of America should be proud of and thank for his years of service to our country. And I am equally pleased and proud